Hi everyone, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com, and I am so excited to show you how to sew this absolutely darling classic market tote with a full zip top and drop down handles. Whoa, I love it. I used one of Jenny's double pole YKK 18-inch zippers on this. Head on over to Zip It at Etsy to get yours, and enter Sewspire 10 to save 10% off your order. It's the absolute perfect zipper for this bag. So on the outside I used a nice lightweight denim, and then the top accent is a really pretty floral which I found at the Hobby Lobby. It's a quilt weight cotton. I used my Annie's Soft and Stable just on the exterior. The interior is the same gorgeous cotton, no interfacing for that. I have 3 really nice wide slip pockets on the inside of this bag. It comes together really simple and it's absolutely gorgeous, as you can see. So shall we get started? Okay, so we're going to begin by crafting our exterior panels, and I'm going to show you how to craft the second panel that looks just like this. I have a nice denim base on this and then a beautiful floral as my top accent panel there. And then we are going to be attaching our zipper right to the top of those exterior panels. So I am going to set aside this panel here, which is backed with the Annie's Soft and Stable, and I am going to teach you how to assemble that panel. So you're going to have a base panel on the exterior that is 11.5 inches tall by 18 inches wide. You are also going to have a top accent panel on the exterior, which is 5 inches tall by 18 inches wide. And you will be sandwiching your strap in between those 2 panels. So we need to craft the straps first for this project. So this is a Sewspire 4-ply standard strap, which is 6 inches wide and 30 inches long. I press that in half long ways, and then I brought those outer edges inward to meet on that center press line, and I slipped a 1.5 inch piece of the Annie's Soft and Stable in there to pad that strap. I did not extend that to the end so that I can minimize the bulk in between these layers. And then I gave that a good press again, and I folded that strap over and pressed again. I'm going to run a row of stitching down the open edge, the opposite edge, and then right down the center to create a 3-way ribbed strap that's nicely padded. And when I sew these straps, I just align the right hand edge of that strap right up with the edge of my presser foot. Okay, and now I have a really beautiful ribbed strap there that's going to look gorgeous against this denim. So I want to position the strap so that it forms a U going down on this denim, and I am going to be measuring in 4 inches from the outer edge of that denim, and I'm going to leave 1 inch of that strap overlapping because I want to be able to capture that material in the top stitching that will come later on to attach the foam to the back of this. So again, I'm going to use my mat to measure over 4 inches and then let that strap overlap that material 1 inch at the top. And in this case, the long flat pins are ideal. And then I can take my accent panel and position that right sides facing against that denim, and I'm going to stitch across here using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance to join those panels and attach the straps. Okay, so when you open that up, you can go ahead and remove those pins. And when you lift that strap up, it's very likely that the strap tabs are still going to naturally want to go up, and that's perfectly fine. So now what we want to do is back this body panel with a like size piece of the Annie's Soft and Stable. As a substitute, you could use the fusible fleece, you could use quilt batting, you might even want to consider Decoville Light. Before I back this with the foam, I just want to make sure that this panel measures 18 by 15, because those are the measurements of the interior panels, and those are the measurements of the Market Tote in general, the Classic Market Tote. So I left myself a little bit of grace in the measurements on this panel because I recognize everyone's seam allowance is going to vary just a little bit, as is the property of your material. So I have about a 1/2 inch extra here on this, and I'm just going to take off the bottom so that my panel is 15 inches tall by 18 inches wide. And then I'm going to bring over a like size piece of the Annie's Soft and Stable and position this exterior panel on that foam. And again, it's perfectly fine for those little ends of the strap to face up. We just want to make sure that we capture them in the top stitching that we're going to run across this fabric here. Take your presser foot and line it up right on that seam so that you're stitching on the accent fabric, and just run right across there an additional row of stitching to capture those strap tabs and attach this panel to that Annie's Soft and Stable. Okay, and I have a second gorgeous exterior panel ready to roll here. So I want to bring over the original panel, which I showed you in the beginning, and this here is an 18-inch YKK double purse zip. Now the zipper is sold as an 18-inch, but it actually measures 19.5 inches from end to end. But if you visit Zip It on Etsy and enter the code Sewspire10, you can save 10% off your order. And it is my preference to use these double pull zippers on the bags, because when you close the bag, you can close it and end both pulls in the center versus at one end. And likewise, when you open it up, the pulls end up on each end, and it's nice and balanced and beautiful. And then you could always, if you like, pull the pulls over to one end as well. So as you can see, I have positioned this zipper as is, right sides facing on top of that exterior panel. Using my zipper foot, I stitched all the way across there to attach the zipper to the first exterior panel. And please note that the handle is still free floating there and in the down position. So now I want to take this panel with the zipper on it, and I want to Position that right sides facing on the panel we just made together. I want to make sure my sides are aligned, and I'm going to go ahead and line that zipper tape up with the top edge of that panel. And again, these long flat pins are perfect for this part of the process. And then you can go ahead and flip that open if you just want to kind of get a sneak peek at how that's gonna look. Once you're happy with that zipper tape placement on there, go ahead and swap out to your zipper foot if you have that ability and stitch across there, attaching the remaining side of that zipper to the remaining exterior panel. Okay, and then when you open that up, you should have a zipper that has been attached there right in the center. And you can go ahead and close up that zipper. So for a moment, we're going to set the exterior aside and we're going to work on the interior. So these panels are 18 by 15. And they are just quilt weight cotton, no interfacing on these. And I have a pocket panel here, which is 18 by 18. And what I have done is pressed over the top and bottom edges on that, and then folded that in half to get a 9 by 18 inch pocket. With the folds, the pocket actually ends up being 8.5 inches tall, and I have slightly staggered that top lip there, and then I have pressed in my stitch lines to divide my pocket. So I'm going to run 2 rows of stitching across the top of that pocket lip. So now I have a nice pocket there that's fully lined, and I want to position that on my interior panel 3 inches up from the base. And then I'm going to stitch across the bottom of that pocket and down the 2 vertical stitch lines so that I end up with a 3-way divided slip pocket. And so I have my interior pocket panel complete, and there are 3 nice wide slip pockets on that. Now I want to bring over my second interior panel, which is also 18 by 15. I am not adding any pockets to that, nor am I adding interfacing. So here's the front of my exterior panel. I'm going to turn that right side down on my table, and I want to make sure I get my straps out of the way. So I still want those facing down on this, and I am going to bring over the panel that does not have the pockets, and I'm going to position that right sides facing, overlapping my zipper. Now I want to attach this interior body panel right to the lip of that zipper there. So I'm going to pin that right on there. So we're working with about 3/8 of an inch seam allowance here. So I'm basically creating a fabric sandwich that has my exterior, one side of that zipper tape, and my interior, all right sides facing. So I'm going to swap back out to that zipper foot. And I am going to adjust my material so that I am only stitching through one interior, the zipper tape, and one exterior. Okay, so you do want to peel that interior back and make sure that you did capture that in the zipper tape and in the stitch line. And then you can peek inside by opening up that zipper, and everything should be attached nicely. So if you turn this over on the back side, you now have your interior panel with no pocket, right side facing up. Here's your zipper upside down. Here's your exterior panel, wrong side facing up. If you flip that over to the front, you have your exterior panel as is. Okay, so we have one more side here with that zipper tape that we want to attach our remaining interior panel to. You're going to want to make sure your pockets openings are facing up, otherwise your pockets are going to be upside down, and you're going to pin or clip the top edge of that panel to that remaining little lip there that is comprised of the exterior, the zipper tape, the foam, and then now your interior pocket panel. Okay, so I have all of my layers pinned together. I'm going to do the same thing and move everything to one side, and then using my zipper foot, I'm going to stitch right across there to capture that pocket panel, the zipper tape, the exterior panel, and my foam in that stitch line. All right, now same thing. I am going to want to make sure that I have captured all of those layers in that stitch line. So first I'm going to check in here on the interior and just gently pull on that lining fabric and make sure it doesn't separate. And then same thing, I'll flip it open so I can see that exterior and just gently pull on those panels as well, and then I'll unzip and see how everything's going. So you can see how this is taking shape. The lining panels are right sides facing, and if I folded this over, the exterior panels would be right sides facing as well. So what we want to do now is exactly that. We want to unzip the zipper, not all the way, but at least 6-7 inches there, and we want to position our exterior panels right sides facing and our interior panels right sides facing. For the exterior, you are going to give those side panels priority and do your best to line up the intersection there, or the seam where the denim and the accent panel come together. And then you're going to probably need to tuck your handles. You can pin them too, but it's okay if you just tuck them out of the way, because we will be stitching across the bottom here, and so you don't want to accidentally capture those straps in these stitch lines. So make sure that they are tucked up, and then we can transition to the interior panels, which you will want to make sure that the base of the interior panels is aligned and that your pocket has not flapped inwards at the side. So I usually just put a pin through all the layers near the edge of that pocket so I can make sure the pocket panel stays in place. Now, most commercial zippers, including this YKK zipper, have these little tiny zipper stoppers at the ends. You do not want to sew through those zipper stoppers. There's a chance that you could break a needle, and everybody hates to do that. So pay attention to where those zipper stoppers are. You're going to use 5/8 of an inch or more seam allowance if you need it to stitch from this interior all the way across. There will be no problem stitching through the zipper teeth, and your zipper should point towards the exterior. So in this case, up. So you're going to stitch up the long edge across the base of the exterior and down the remaining long edge. And then you're going to come in 4 inches on each side of the base. We're going to leave an opening in the interior that's at least 7 inches wide for us to turn this bag right side out. So if I didn't emphasize it to you, make sure now that that zipper is open, not all the way, but open at least 6-7 inches, because that's going to be your only way to get inside of this bag. Okay, once you have stitched down the sides across the base of the exterior, up the opposite side, and then in on each corner, leaving yourself a generous opening to turn this, you are going to want to peek around all your seams and make sure that you have in fact captured all of the layers in that stitch line. It's really easy to go back and fix now if anything shifted or you're concerned that it may be too close. You can come back in and true that up. Okay, mine is looking nice. Everything seems to be captured in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim up this seam allowance around 3 sides to 1/4 inch. I'm going to leave that interior base untrimmed for the moment, and I had no problem stitching through that zipper. Okay, then I want to reach inside and go ahead and locate those zipper pulls and open that zipper all the way up. And then I'm not quite ready to turn this bag yet. I want to, and you might be able to see in there, but you're probably going to have to just feel into the interior. Put your hand all the way down in there to the bottom of the exterior panel. Feel where that base seam is, and you can see the side seam. We're going to fashion a flat corner here by aligning the side seam and the base seam of that bag, and then measuring across 4 inches and marking a straight line across there so that we can stitch right across there and give this bag its depth. And once you have stitched across there, you can trim to the right of your stitch line. Then we're going to repeat that process for all 4 corners of this bag, including the lining. Okay, so now all 4 corners of my bag have depth, including the lining. And so now I want to reach in through that opening in the base of the lining and carefully turn my bag right side out. Check those corners and make sure everything is nice, and just by feeling that seam, they still turned out really nice and clean corners, which is wonderful. I think the trick to that is using the ruler and the pen to mark, and my sides are pretty nicely aligned as well. It's perfect on this side. Just a smidgen off on this side. It's pretty darn hard to get it completely perfect, but I doubt very seriously anyone will notice that. So you can get a good feel for how beautiful this bag is. So the next thing that I need to do before I can fit this lining in there is go ahead and stitch up this opening that I have in the bottom. So I want to kind of poke my corners out there. You could definitely hand sew this if you're up for the job, and it would be really pretty. You're welcome to give it a press as well if you need that cotton to lay flat. And then through a combination of pressing and pinning, you want to try to get that opening as aligned as possible, and then just run a very narrow row of top stitching across there in a coordinating thread so that you can close up that hole in the base. And then usually by this point, as a result of the turning, your fabric does require a little press. And so here's the side without pockets, and then I have my 3 nice deep pockets in there, and my hand fits in each of those pockets. This fabric is gorgeous, isn't it? Okay, so now I am ready to slip my interior inside of this bag, and it fits really nice. I've got my 3 slip pockets there, and then the zipper looks great as well, and it functions so wonderfully. Okay, so now you have a couple of options when it comes to the straps. You can go ahead and tack those down with some top stitching right here at the top. If you do that, they won't free fall anymore. You can also add rivets to this to hold those straps in place, or you have the option of leaving them as they are, and then they will drop down when the bag is not in use. And I really like that look. I think it's super functional because the handles are completely out of your way, and you can load up your pretty new bag. So let me give you some measurements on this zip top Classic Market Tote with drop handles. We are coming in at 12 inches tall, 16.25 inches across the top, and 13 inches across the base, and 4 inches deep. This is a really awesome bag. It is so much better than I even thought it was going to be, and it just very well may end up being my favorite bag out of this Market Tote series. I will be really curious to see what you think. I'm going to link to all the Market Tote tutorials this month for you down in the notes. Wow, I am really happy with this bag. Confession, this is the first time that I ever made this particular design. I visualized it this morning, got super excited about it, just did that a little bit of pre-crafting of the panel to verify that my measurements were correct and that the process would work. But I am really thrilled with this. It is perhaps my favorite bag to date for Sewspire 2022. It really turned out awesome. I hope you like it too. I want to thank you for sewing with me today. If you haven't had a chance yet, please do subscribe to the channel. I have a goal this year of acquiring 100,000 subscribers. And if I am successful, if we are successful, I'm going to have a special live event and give away my brand new Janome Skyline S321 lucky Sewspire subscriber. So help us out and click subscribe to the channel. We are approaching 55,000 subscribers. I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued interest in the channel. It is my absolute passion to inspire other people to create, and this is the means in which I do it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I will be back next Friday noon with one more market tote for you, okay? And then we're going to be moving on to the ultimate beach bag in June. So, as always, until we meet again, please know the creative genius in me will be celebrating the creative genius in you. I hope you all have an awesome week. Thank you so much for sewing with me.